Hey everyone, it's Jonathan from Motor Psychology. Welcome to the channel. For the new viewers, welcome, and for the returning viewers, welcome back. Your support, as always, is greatly appreciated. So in today's video, I'm working on a daily driver. It's a Ford Escape with a 3.0 liter 6-cylinder engine. It's the same as, I guess, what would be a Mazda Tribute as well. So this is a 2009 second generation Ford Escape. The issue that it is having is the ignition key and cylinder is totally unreliable. It rarely works. So in order to hopefully fix this problem, I've got a new ignition switch that I'm going to show you how to install it. It's very simple, very straightforward, save you a lot of time and a lot of money. If that doesn't work, there's a little part that tends to wear in the ignition cylinder. And if that's the case, then you can take the ignition cylinder out and you can put some tape over it for a temporary fix. So that's what I'll be looking at. First of all, I'm going to change the ignition switch. If that doesn't work, I'm going to go and check out the ignition cylinder. So this should be a useful video. There's a few other similar videos to this out there. I would suggest if you have this problem at home, check out a variety of videos and see what technique works the best for you. So I tried my best to make it clear, easy to follow, step-by-step processes that anyone in this situation will be able to do it quite simply at home with no special tools. So stick around, let's dive into this video and see how it goes. So we're down here. The part that I was looking for this Ford 2009 Ford Escape with the 6-cylinder 3-liter engine. It's the same as the Mazda Tribute. So as you've seen, the ignition is not working properly. Apparently this is a good fix. So let's open it up and see what we have here. This was about a $50 part, and if it works, it'll save a whole bunch of aggravation. So, the rest of the box is empty. This is what we're looking for. So it is a ignition switch. Here's the numbers here, replacement, and let's open this box up. Looks like the part that I was interested in getting. Let's have a detailed look at it. Yeah, so you'll see this part here. That is where one of the plungers, I guess is a good way of calling it, from the ignition cylinder engages and turns it. And electronically, it's hooked up to some sort of ignition control. So apparently this thing fails regularly. As soon as I get this in and working, the better off I'll be with that. So I'm going to go outside and hopefully get this done and installed relatively quickly. There are a couple other details to check out on this. So where the ignition cylinder is going to engage in here is a little bit wider at the bottom and a little bit narrower on the top. So when I eventually look into the steering column, you're going to see the place where the key goes in here, not the car key, but the ignition connector key. It's going to be more narrow at the top and wider at the bottom. So you just have to make sure you line it up that way. I'm hoping this is already preset. It looks like it could be, so I won't find out until I have a look inside the steering column, but hopefully this will fix the issue. This will be a great opportunity to try out this new toolkit, socket ratchet set. So I have tons of larger kits. I just bought this one recently. It was on sale for not too much. It's got 95 pieces and it's great for quick portable jobs that I need to do now. And then inside it, if I can get it open, inside you have a minimal amount of stuff, but hopefully some of the major stuff in Imperial and metric as well, and some of the longer deep sockets as well. So that's pretty good. Some spark plug removers there, a couple tiny wrenches here. That one's super small. This will be the one likely that I'll be using. And it even has a few screwdriver bits. I'll often throw something like this when I'm traveling in my pickup truck or something else, just so I have some emergency tools on hand if something happens. So let's get out and check out the Escape. It's super freezing outside, snowy. Not looking forward to doing this, but let's get it started and see how it goes. This is the car in question way down here, and as you can see, it is pretty cold around here, and it's definitely below freezing, so it's not the best environment to be working on this. So I'm going to go inside and show you what my issue is, and then pop the hood, disconnect the battery, and then fix it. Hopefully fix it. So we're in the Escape now. Here's the key for that, and I'm just going to stick it in here and then try and start it, and you'll see what the issue is. It's fairly common, apparently. I didn't know this a couple of weeks ago, but it is. So I'll go to start it. It's an automatic. Battery's in there, and when you go to start it, nothing happens. And there is a shortcut that you can do, and it involves pushing this in while you turn it. And for me, it's getting to the stage now where that's even very difficult. So you can wiggle it a little bit and maybe get it to start. I personally don't have any luck doing that. Other people who drive this, like my kids, they can still start it using that mechanism. But for me, I can't. So I can try and flip the key around. Yeah, I can't. I clearly cannot start this. So my next step is going to take off the top and the bottom and access the area where I can put in that new part. But before that, I'm going to disconnect the battery. So as mentioned, I'm going to disconnect the battery. I'm just going to take the negative off. It's usually not too difficult. Just loosen that a little bit. And there we go. Battery disconnected. This is a brand new battery, by the way. Now we'll go inside and access that part that we need. So we're looking in the driver's side door. Here's the steering wheel. I've got to remove this top part and this bottom plate. And the part that I'm replacing is on the left side, so it's not going to be a big deal. Normally you can press these things in and release them, but I'm going to undo the bottoms first and get that done. You can often get better access by pulling this allows you to move it a little bit just for a better access. I'm going to push that all the way up, I think. So we're looking up at the steering column, and underneath there's 3 screws that you have to remove, and I had originally thought that they were torque screws, but they're not. They're just little tiny bolts. I'll see if I can show you. Yeah, so that's the size. Tiny bolts, tiny screws, and let's try and get those out. This is kind of the size that it's going to fit. Not the best fit, but it's 732, so that's the best I have that'll fit. So let's get these screws out. So there's one out. That's what you're looking at here. Little screw that barely fits on there. So you just want to put the screws away somewhere where you're not going to lose them. 2 more to do. All right, another identical screw. one more to come out. All right, and the third one. So that's all you need, 3 screws out of there. So now I'm going to pull these things off. I might need a tool there, but normally you wouldn't. All right, let's try and get this stuff off. It's more difficult when it's colder, that's for sure. Need a little screwdriver to pry in there. Back with some tools to help out. All right, there's one part. So I'm just using like plastic pry tools. You can usually get a pack of those things for about $10 or so. Same on the other side. Finally. Whoops. Well, that's interesting. Little rubber clip holding that on. Don't need to put that on right now. Now this bottom should come out without much difficulty. All right. I don't think I need to actually remove it completely. Let's see what we're looking at here. So in my case, I'm not going to bother pulling this out because I can access what I'm looking for. So you need to disconnect this guy in here and remove it from this part. And then there are some plugins over on this side that you need to access in order to swap the parts over. So let's get around to doing that. That's what you see from the top down. And this is what the other side looks like. So you've got your ignition cylinder here, which may need to be replaced. If so, I'll do that at a later time. So here we are here. This needs to come out. That'll pop out. There's a plug way back here that has a small tab in it that you need to press in. This will come out. And then once that's done, there's a tab that will allow you to remove the ignition connector. And then when that's there, you can push those all to the side. Then you can actually get the part out and reinstall it. So we're going to get after that right now. All right, let's try and get after this thing. So going for this pin down here. Wow, these wires are really stiff. So let's get this out first. So I'm going to pop this out here. So once this guy's out, it's a little bit easier to get that plug off. A little light in here. So this tab needs to come that way and then pull the plug out here. Always easier to say, eh? All right, so that comes out. So now you've got this entire thing here. There's a tab over here. There's this tab way down here, which needs to be depressed so that can come out. Press this thing to get that out. You can see that plug coming out. It's red on the end. So this is what I'm going to plug into the new part once we get that installed. So you just have to kind of tuck this out of the way. So we have what we're looking for here. There's a couple tabs, one on the top and the bottom, that need to come out. I'm going to get that out right now. So there's a tab here and another one on the top. So I'll pop those things off. and this unit will come out that way. So I'm just going to use a screwdriver on the top one. You kind of have to reach in a little bit, but you'll know when you press it down. There, that one's loose enough to come out, and we'll do the bottom. I think I got it. There we go. So once you get it, it's pretty easy. This one looks okay, but you never know. So that's the unit I'm replacing, and there is the ignition part down there, which goes into this side. So the fat side is at the bottom. A little bit of a close-up in here. You can see that, no problem, and all the associated plug areas. So now I'll get the new part in and align that and stick it in and start putting everything together. It looks pretty much identical to the other one. Let me do a side-by-side comparison. Looks pretty good. This one's a little bit chewed up, but not too bad. I guess electronically it's not working that great. Everything else looks identical, minus some paint markings from the factory. But let's put that in and keep our fingers crossed that it works. So my main key thing is to making sure that I align this guy up with that key area down there. They're both straight, so it shouldn't be an issue. And it really literally just clicks back in place. Tabs appear to be lined up. There we go. So with a little bit of jiggling, not much, you can get that in. So the clips haven't engaged yet. All I have to do is push it in and the clips will engage. So here we go. There. So now that's in. I can then re-plug in this guy here. It's gonna be a little bit of a twist to get that in. Almost. There's just not a lot of space. So got that aligned. We'll push that in. So I heard that clip. Everything is good. Now I'll push this thing in. This side. That's in. Put the Christmas tree thing in. That part is in. So everything is hooked up as it was. New part in here. All the wires and plugs back together. So now I'm going to hook the battery up and test it out. All right, grab the negative battery cable right here. Tighten that up. I guess I could have used a socket as well. That's on nice and tight. Let's give this a try. Stick the key in and hope for the best. So I'm just going to turn this and everything should work. Got power, and hopefully with the turn it'll work. Oh no. All right, so that's great. That didn't fix it. So on to the next step, which could be getting a new one of these things. So I popped the ignition cylinder out. It's pretty easy. Right on the top of it, where it fits into the steering wheel area there, there's a small hole. You just put a screwdriver in there, press it in, and then pull the cylinder out. And I'll kind of show you that when I put this cylinder back in. So I'm getting ready to do kind of a hack to fix it. So I took this thing inside, wiped the end off with some acetone to get rid of any oil or grease that would prevent the tape from sticking. Then I took some of this ultra sharp line multi-surface painter's tape, wrapped it around it twice. I'm going to trim off the top now. This is a temporary, hopefully a temporary solution, so we'll see. All right, trim the top off. Looking at for now. I'll widen that up a bit. Trim some more. I've been wrong before, but I don't think this is going to work. But I thought the other thing was going to work, so you never know. So the concept behind this is just to kind of rebuild a little bit of the thickness of this thing and then stick it back in and see what happens. So there's the button that you have to depress to get it out. So not too hard to stick it back in. Flat side over there. All right. All right, so that's done. Let's keep our fingers crossed and hope this works. Woohoo! That's amazing. All right, so let's give it another try here. Stick that in and turn it. Everything works. So that's a way that you can fix it. So I have that little piece of tape on the ignition cylinder, so I'll be ordering a new cylinder and replacing that, and everything seems to be working fine. So all right, now to put all the parts back. So this is the front part that needs to go in. Not very difficult to get in there. Put this guy under here for whatever reason that was in there. Not too sure. Oh, this helps give it a little bit of tension. So that can go back in. Looking at popping the back in here. Here we go. That one's in place. And screw in a couple of these retaining screws. Just gotta line these guys up with the original spots. Easier said than done, like everything. It's good to go. One more of the extreme back end here. this thing in. This guy goes in like so. Last one to clip in is going to be this one. Oops. All right, there's the console in place. Okay, grab the keys. I know it absolutely has to work. That's so much nicer. Job done. Now I have to reset all these other things, which I have no idea how to do. I'll leave that to somebody else. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking around and watching this video. It's kind of an impromptu video. It was definitely something legitimate and something that had to be done on that Ford Escape or the Mazda Tribute equivalent. My version was a second edition Ford Escape, so somewhere in between, I think, 2006 to 2012-ish time period is when those were manufactured. So just understanding how that works and that you can get some of those components available for not too much money could save you a real big repair bill if you didn't know how to do that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Watch this video along with other videos that show very similar things and processes, and you'll get the best idea on how to do this relatively quickly. It takes about less than an hour to get it done. But anyway, thanks so much for being here. Stick around for more Corvette videos, which I'm working on, and we'll see you right back here at Motorcycology next time.